Okay, guys, so today's topic will be my topic, and another one will be in English, so we will try it like the first time. It's first meetup in our community. So let me describe what is the main purpose of my topic and what I will share a screen. Seems like everything is correct. I hope you see my screen. Is it okay, Anton? Okay, so currently here we have a plan which we'll follow. So the first question is about Flutter on web. How does it behave and what is common pitfall? The first question is that on web platform, all your UI is dynamic. Your screen size is not static as you have on mobile devices, and the size of the window can be changed. It can be changed by different use cases. Maybe a user decided to switch the windows, maybe a user just decided to make a window smaller or to enter a full screen. So it will behave differently, and for that I have a real example with this. Let's check this code. It's like basic implementation which has been written on CodePen, and you have nothing else like just usual row with 3 elements, 3 containers inside it, and they have a specific concrete size like we do in Flutter on mobile devices. So let's try to resize the window. And you'll realize that if you have containers with a static size or concrete size, they will be cutted, and it's in debug mode, and in release mode, they will be just cutted without any signs that something went wrong. So what can we do with this? Probably it's not on Flutter for web. It's relatively young, and it's not the first time when we are doing something there. So there are 2 approaches which we can, I would say, steal from native web development. It's adaptive and responsive design. And what is the difference between them? For those people who are not web developers, and I also, from the very beginning, I was not a web developer. I just recently started to be a web developer for the last 7 months. What is the difference between responsive and adaptive UI? A responsive UI have approach that all your widgets on your UI, they will be resized dynamically depending on the screen size. So when you decrease size of the screen, media query is called, and screen size is recalculated, and all widgets became smaller or bigger. So it's so-called scaling in responsive UI. Let's take a look on this example with responsive UI. And here you can see that we are calling media query of context and taking the width and height of the window. After that, we are multiplying 1% because we divided the height and width of the window by 100, and we are getting 1% of height of the width or width. So we are getting 30% of the screen height of width and applying them to the containers, to the same containers as we had in previous example. And if this time we'll try to resize the window, as you can see, your widgets are also resized and scaled down. So it could work, and it's not the only and it's not the first point of the responsive UI, but it's the basic difference between the responsive UI and adaptive UI. Next point will be basic difference between responsive and adaptive UI. Okay, now we're switching to adaptive UI. But what if, for example, some screen was decreased to the size where all your widgets are too small, or for example, all your text are very small and you cannot read it or see some details of it? Of course, there is another approach called adaptive UI, And in this approach, you basically create couple layouts for different screen sizes. It can be up to usually six screen layouts for different screens, for desktop screens, for mobile screens, for tablets, and so on. And depending if the screen size is reaching some point, for example, like 600 pixels, the layout is changed dynamically and all widgets are rearranged. Let's take a look on the same example with three containers in adaptive layout. As you can see, their size is not changed, but once some custom point is reached, the whole layout for those widgets are changed. So we can ask ourselves, what if we will mix them together? And maybe if there is already some ready-to-use solution, so we will decrease the amount of time spent for solving this task. So during my investigation of this question, there was one cool thing that I have found out. It's a responsive framework package that you can use, and it also have inside it also have different approaches like adaptive and responsive. You can set up your custom breakpoints. You can set up scaling of the pages. And moreover, the second tool that can help you with this is Sizey. Sizey is an application, or I would say it's some common embedded browser. And it can show you during development how does different screens looks on different screen sizes. If you ask me why don't you use a responsive framework from the very beginning in your project, I would say that I need to handle some cases manually. So for some of the widgets should be decreased, some of the widgets should not be decreased, and sometimes my customer requires that he wants to see the widget in different screen orientations, or for example, in tablet mode, he wants to see some of the widgets like basic button on the top of the layout, and in a mobile view, he wants to see it at the bottom of the view or of the screen. So it's pretty cool. And I also today, during the review of the project, I have realized that they have made a real copy of a Flutter website. So you can see, let's talk, it's a topic connected to the performance of Flutter for web at the current moment. And they are improving their performance like every release, and now it's better. So let's check it out. What is the real performance on Flutter website? It's pretty smooth, and they have made a real copies built on Flutter for web. You can be sure about that by inspecting a page. And inside sources, as you can see, it's built on main Dart.js with Dart2JS compiler. So it doesn't have the performance that we expect yet, and it's not so smooth during the scrollment. And I would say that currently for Flutter on web, it's pretty hard project because it has a lot of elements, a lot of animations. And let's check what does Google itself telling us about use cases of Flutter for web. So Flutter for web currently on the moment, it's good for rich interactive single pages, connected PWA, and dynamics or interactive content in existing web pages. They do not expect that it will be used for all use cases for now, as it's still in beta. But let's return to our topic and discuss what we can do, what else we can do except using ready-to-use packages, and what to do if you want manually handle screen sizes and control all your widgets positions. The first widget that will help us with that from responsive UI, it's media query. And there is one interesting point. If you are using media query inside your project and inside your road, each time when media query will be changed, it means that all the time when screen size will be changed, media query will be called also, and all sizes will be recalculated. Opening the API documentation, you can see that querying current media using media query will cause the widget to rebuild automatically. That means that build method of the sum of road or anything else will be called if you use media query there, and you are depending on the sizes taken from media query. So how we can use it? And now it's too far from here. I would say that the best approach here is to use media query and call it at the root widget or at the top of the road. So it doesn't matter if it's stateless or stateful widget. All the time when you use or call media query, you call the build and resize the window, of course. You will call build method of the road, and after that, its children build methods also will be called, except const widget, which will be not rebuilt, but it's like a rare use case. So the basic idea is to put media query all the time at the root widget or in the road widget, in the road build widget, and it will be calling and recalculating size of its children automatically. And this is the only place where you need to call it. And let's take a look on example. Here we have, it's from my article on Medium. Okay, I'll show you a bit later. So let's return, but calling media query in each road and using it all the time is like not for us, because we want to have a common place where to call it, and we want to access it from any place and call it from any widget. So I have made up, and I used previous examples that I was using on mobile screens. There's a separate article about sizes of the widgets on mobile screens. So I have created this kind of class, and what does it do? Here all that you do, you have static methods and static variables, and inside these static methods you do different calculations. For example, static void recalculate. It is taking current media query of context and recalculating size of the screen. So all the time when you call this method, your media query is recalculated, and you are getting relative points for your UI. And also it would be cool to use it, for example, not like in this example. Let's return back to this one, the responsive UI. For example, yeah, and do you remember I was talking about media query, and that will return back to this. So here's the right place to use media query, and this is the only place which is needed to rebuild all children widgets from calling media query. So I would say that it's not a good example how to use media query, and that there should be a better one. And this is how our so-called screen size class can help us with. The only places, the only things that we need to do, just to call recalculate method in the road build method all the time. And this real example from improved, if we will compare it to the previous one, how to use it in real conditions. So we're calling screen size recalculate, which accepting context from the build method. After that, it's recalculating sizes of the screen window right now, or browser window, and extension method inside this class are allowing us to use relative appointments or relative points to specify screen sizes. So it's basically all magic around responsive UI in Flutter for web, and all that we need to do is just resize windows to according size, accordingly to the along with resizing of the browser window. And next case is adaptive approach, and how we can implement this one, and how we can dynamically change layout of the widgets in Flutter for web during the resize of the window. There's two ways. First one is to use a so-called widget, which is called orientation builder, and there you can get two properties. One of them is build context with its context, and second one is orientation, which can be horizontal or portrait. But if you take a look on this class again, you will see that here's special properties called isPortrait, and it's giving you screen orientation, if it's horizontal or portrait, right during the recalculation of the media query sizes, and without any other additional work. Based on this isPortrait property, we can implement different layouts, and let's see how does it work in example. So this property is just changing its value from horizontal or vertical or portrait orientation during the calculation of the screen size. And based on this, we can use one layout with center and column, or we can use another layout with a row. So let's check it in full screen size, full page view. Just 1 second, it's loading. Oh, yep, we have it. So as you can see, during this phase, you have a responsive UI, and the size of the widgets is changing. And once it will reach some breakpoint, the whole UI layout will be changed according to the adaptive layout. And now it's turning from row to the column. So once you have reached some special size of the screen, you can change layout from one to another one, but still using the responsive UI and changing size of the window. That's currently how does responsive framework package working inside, but it's just giving you general control options, and with inside it, if you take a look inside it, probably you'll find the same way. How does it work? And with this approach that I have explained, with responsive and adaptive UI, you can control position of the widgets manually. But what if, for example, you want some common pattern to control positions of the widget on the screen all the time? So I suggest to wrap all your widgets inside, all your rows inside stack widget. With the stack widget, you can use align widget, which gives you the exact position, the relative position on the screen all the time, and you can change alignment of some of the widgets during the change of the window size. And let's check how does it work on example here. So you still have screen size recalculate, which is calling media query, and media query is calling build method, and all children widgets are rebuilt during it. And you have stack widget, and inside stack widget you have align widgets like its children, and they contain different your widgets itself. Also, based on orientation, portrait or horizontal, you can change dynamically change layout of the widgets. You can play with it as long as you want. You can specify or predefine build enums, or you can use like points on the screen directly. And it works basically in the same way as the previous example, but it's handy because you can always control the exact position of the widget on the screen. Let's, for example, change the position from center right to bottom. It will be rebuild it. Bottom, center, probably I don't remember them all. And one second, it's rebuilding. Yep, here we have, so as you can see in horizontal orientation, you have one layout, and also in portrait orientation, you will have another layout. That's how it works with stack widgets. So everything else is described in the topic, which probably will be in the article, which we can attach to the streaming on YouTube description, or also we will insert a link into the Art Flutter group. And if you are talking about some common pitfalls which we're expecting, so there's two pitfalls. One of them is if you are using resizing on Flutter for web, for text, you will face this issue. So during the zooming out or zooming in the text could be the same. And sometimes you are zooming in because the text is too small. So this point is not covered, and probably you'll find a better way to solve it. And second way, second common pitfall is that most of the widgets out of the box, they have some internal sizes, and this is a real example of stepper widget on Flutter for web. So the only places which you can control, it's like title size, you can control title content, but not the buttons and not their size. And there's many widgets which have concrete sizes inside the box and inside the SDK, and you cannot change them. So you need to build a custom widgets. From my side, that's probably all. And I was talking too much, so it's time for your questions if you have some. And Anton will share me a link. Anton, please share me a link for questions. Удобнее ли делать верстку на Flutter, чем на CSS? Хорошо, теперь перейдем обратно на русский. Так, все вопросы будут на русском. Удобнее ли делать верстку на Flutter, чем на CSS? Я бы сказал, что удобнее, потому что у тебя все вместе, у тебя размеры вместе, все стили вместе, также позиции полностью все. Что еще? Ну, в принципе, на одном языке. Как для меня, то удобнее, да. Но я бы не стал разделять. Это немножко разные поля. Для меня, да, удобней. И потому что все вместе на одном языке. Performance, перейдем к второму. Performance Flutter Web не самый выдающий, насколько знаю, не добавляет респонсивность, больше лагов. Респонсивность, да, добавляет больше лагов, когда ты делаешь именно ресайз окна. Это нечастый кейс, и, как я говорил уже во время доклада, то сам Google пока что пишет, что ограниченное применение Flutter на вебе. То есть его для полноценных страничек, которые будут с выдающимся перформансом, не получится использовать, но я его отлично использую на терминальных приложениях. Что это значит? Это киоски самообслуживания. Вот мы делаем проект для больниц в Германии и для реабилитационных центров, где на киосках мы его используем. Там не меняется размер окна, и также его можно тоже, как кросс-платформу, мы используем на веб-виде, на мобильных девайсах, но и никто не мешает тебе делать приложение для десктопных видов, но да, перформанс на этом будет падать при ресайзе окна, потому что будет перерисовываться все, что на нем есть. Можно ли скинуть ссылку на статью в чат? В чат можно скинуть, добавим, думаю, в описании на YouTube. Вот, добавим в группу, и тут чат, сейчас, думаю, сюда еще скину на всякий случай, если что. Вот. Сам себе отправлю сообщение. Она здесь есть, если что. Как вы определяете порой переключение на адаптивную схему на Android? У нас там целый зоопарк разнообразнейших девайсов. Диагональ 6 дюймов, это и 800, и 4000 пикселей. На самом деле определял я только для одного девайса. У нас одна была целевая группа девайсов на Android. Это были планшеты, которые они используют. Никто не мешает сделать много кастомных брейкпоинтов. Вот Васильевич уже скинул. Отлично, спасибо. Много кастомных брейкпоинтов. И так, это и 800, и 4000 пикселей. Да, действительно хороший вопрос. Не сталкивался я с тем, чтобы на целый зоопарк девайсов это переключать, только работали на одну целевую группу. Організаторам на замітку приєдналися рівно о 6, але доклад почався явно раніше, що відразу змазало враження. Так, там у нас 18:20, я даже раньше закончил. Это уже пообщаемся в группе касательно этого. Can you compare React Native Web to Flutter Web? We have tried the first one. Unfortunately, no, I haven't tried React Native Web, so I cannot say anything about that. Seems like it's all questions that we have.